What the hell are you doing out here, Charlie? What the hell are you doing? No! No! How did you get out here, Charlie? If you're real, you better tell me right now. If you're real, you better tell me right now. So today we're gonna go over something that kind of sparks my tism. It's a bit of a niche video, and it's comparing polymer and steel frame guns. Now, it's not really a versus, but an impression video. I don't have a ton of time on steel frames, and I really just wanted to see, right? Because they cost extra, and a ton of dudes rave about them. But I only have experience with Glock, and if Glock had made a steel frame, I would give that a go. But unfortunately, you could buy horse jizz before you can buy a steel frame Glock. So Walter was kind enough to send us out pretty much the same gun in polymer and then in steel. So it's a 5-inch. The weight difference, the steel frame is about 41 ounces with an empty mag, and the polymer is about 26. So really, I just wanted to get a feel and see, you know, as a consumer, someone who buys not a ton of shit because I'm a little poor, but someone who buys shit from time to time, I really wanted to see, is it worth the extra money? Is the steel just this crazy enhanced gun that automatically deletes recoil or something like that, or if it's personal preference? So over the past couple weeks, we've been doing that. We've been shooting it. We got some footage of Fetsy and I at Independence Indoor shooting these two guns back to back, the times, the differences, and really kind of going over the differences that I felt with these two guns. And a shout out to Havoc Holster for rushing and making a holster that would fit both last minute. Those are awesome guys over there. And then after you watch me shoot very, very mid-tier, we're gonna come back and give the thoughts about what happened. Want to thank the sponsor, Handle It Grip. So I got a new grip. I didn't know they had. It has a puppy dog print. You guys know I love dogs. So use code COX for 25% off and get a paw print. I'm pretty sure the only people who aren't gonna wanna are the communists out there, because all they do is eat them. Glad you guys found me. Let's do some actual shooting. We're here at about 15-ish. Big shout out to Independence Indoor Range here for allowing us to use it. So we're just gonna get a feel for the longer shots here. I don't really have a lot of time on these guns at all. I've had a PDB in the past, but I didn't have a ton of rounds on it. So this is the polymer 5-inch. We're just gonna get a feel. Wasn't too bad, it's light. Was that 139, so that was an A zone. It actually does it, this is a 115 A zone. Shoots really well. So A zone, I believe, in 107. So I like to scoop draw, and I haven't tried it with the steel frame yet. So I don't know if it's quite possible that way. We're just gonna do it with the polymer still. That was a lower Charlie 115. That was another Charlie. Of course, when you go to the other side, it's trash now. 111, let's do one more. That was an Alpha 108. The polymer itself, it isn't bad. I'm interested to see how the steel does, especially when I try and scoop draw. I feel like it's gonna be like trying to pick up a fat chick who fell over or something, but we'll see. That actually shot really, really nice, the polymer. I'm kind of stoked to see how the steel does. Got the steel frame. It's a heavy boy for sure, but I think that's why people are drawn to the steel guys here. So same thing, about 15 yards. We're gonna do scoop draw and see how that's working out. And if it's not, then I'm gonna try the kinda, and see if that's the way to go with it. Wow. So as a 122, that was a little bit slower, but it just felt like butter. No wonder. All right. That was 2 alphas. That was a 125, so it's a little bit slower for sure. But when it shoots, wow. 120. Oh, let's do one more. That was high. That was a high Charlie. That was a 113. So with the steel, at least with those scoops, because it's heavier, I feel like I'm just not getting it out in time. So I'm gonna try a couple where I do a regular non-scoop draw. That was a lower Charlie. So that's like a 1-3-2, so that's even slower. I should have just drawn it into my own face. So I was just outside Charlie, it's a 1-3-0. So, oh man. Not as consistent. And the times were a little bit slower. That was a 1-4-6. Now these are my capabilities. You watch dudes like Jay Beal, for instance, who runs a steel frame, and he gets the gun out so quick. But yeah, so you can still scoop, might be a little bit slower, at least for myself. All right, let's do a bill drill. Bill drill, because that's what Instagram likes to see. Yeah, it's weird. That polymer, it felt more at home since I'm so used to shooting Glock. And then a little bit snappier, but getting it out, because I like to scoop draw, getting it out was easier. And yeah, the steel though, on the other hand, is once I did get it out, it's a little bit flatter because that added weight. All right, we're gonna try a bill drill, everyone's favorite Instagram drill. So back to the polymer. A lot of people like to fake 7 yards, especially, I know, when they're using 45. Silly geese. So that was a 209. So all alphas. Definitely was able to get the gun up. A little snappy boy. All right, let's try it one more time. Let's see what it looks like. So that was a 203. Pulled. I think that might be just out. Oh yeah. So on that one I did 2 Charlie, but that was a 203. So I'm able to get that gun up. It's definitely snappier. So let's do it with the steel frame. And then we're shooting 124. Just like very basic ammo. We didn't want to bring out some guys like super hot loads. Some guys don't like very loads that are, I don't know, very average, but we're just shooting 124, regular brass. So steel frame now, I'm gonna try a scoop boy. So slower, 218, it was clean. The first shot, so trying to get that scoop, so the first shot is 112, whereas I didn't check the other ones, or the polymer. So let's do it again. So that's a 206. I feel, yeah. I could see why. It's kind of like you're definitely sacrificing, possibly, right? Some dudes can do it fast. You might be sacrificing some things, like maybe me, because I'm like to try and be a cool guy and scoop draw. So it's a little bit slower, and maybe that's something I'll just get used to. But if I switch to a steel frame, but the shooting, I feel like it just parks. And when I'm shooting, the dot isn't leaving the window the entire time for the most part. It's not like a staccato smooth, but it does a trick. I want to do it one more time. So that was a 205. So actually, it was kind of comparable to the polymer, even though I feel like I'm getting a slower draw. But one thing is that once I had the dot on this A zone, it was just, I felt like when I was shooting, it was kind of just parked there. Like it wasn't wild. I threw a couple Charlies with the polymer, but this was much more controllable. Let's try something else out. Shout out to Optics Planet. Use code COX, save 7%, and it includes night vision and ammunition. Now, I'm way too poor to buy night vision, but maybe you can get it at a discount. My draw is slower, and I feel like I could get a faster draw just with some time and the different grip angle because I'm used to Glock. But the shots, they definitely feel more consistent when I'm, like the recoil impulse is more predictable, I feel like, going to the steel frame. So I kind of want to do some doubles at distance and see what that looks like. Because right now I'd be more than happy to sacrifice maybe a slower draw until I dry fire that out and spend a little bit extra money on a steel. And it feels good. Do you want to make me feel good, Betsy? We're gonna do some doubles and see what that looks like. Let's go look at that. So we're at about 15-ish. It's not too bad. Kept it all A's. Yeah. Yeah, if that was an overlay, I'd get that. This is really, like if I was able to get time on both guns like this, you know, on a steel and a polymer, and then it would literally come down to price difference. I feel like, I don't know, that's a hard one. So I'm not too worried about my draw time. I just want to see how the doubles feel. Woo. Quite the difference. So I got a Charlie and a Delta, and the rest were right here. And not being used to that weight. Now, everything, it's time on the gun, and I don't have a lot of time on these guns. A polymer, like Glock, I do. But as far as a steel frame, I don't. I think I've shot a CZ Shadow a couple times, Trent CZ Shadow. And if that's steel, yeah, that's steel. If not, whatever. But I felt like when I was shooting, because of the weight that I wasn't used to, coming is like a little bit of bobble, if you will, on the steel frame. So, but the recoil impulse felt better, if that makes sense. So.
Do you feel like you were like pushing the gun down?
Not down, because they were level. I felt like when it was coming down, not being used to that weight, it was almost, it was like, it felt a little wobbly, you know? And it just felt like it was a little wobbly. And we could do it one more time to kind of see if that's the case or if it was just me. But the polymer just felt like pretty consistent. Dude, that felt so gay. Let's do it one more time to see if it was me. I think it might have been me. Because that time, knowing what I was getting into maybe, yeah, look at that. So we had one that was still A zone, a little bit to the left, but I feel like that was a better grouping than the polymer. How does it look to you when I'm shooting, Betsy?
It looks like, I don't know, just visually it looks like you're able to do that second shot a lot quicker.
Oh, with the steel frame? Yeah, that's how it kind of felt. That second time was far more comfortable.
Because like with the polymer, it's like you shoot,
yeah,
and then it's almost like you do a mental pause to make sure the dot's there.
Really?
And then you shoot again. Whereas this, you're just kind of going, like going in.
Yeah, and I was able to see it in the splits. They weren't the quickest in the world. 23, 23, 24. So pretty consistent. We're gonna try some see how it feels, transitions on with the polymer, then the steel. I wanna see how it parks. So alpha, 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 alpha. So the transition time was a 4.9. Let's do it one more time. It felt good. I felt like with this one, I don't know how the steel is gonna be, but with this one, it's like, go fast. And then make sure I get that. So alpha, 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 alpha. So the transition time, oh, that was a 6-1. That was a little bit slower. I think I overdrove it or confirmed pretty tough on that. Let's do one more, and then let's switch to the steel frame and see how that feels. I've never transitioned. I've never switched targets with the steel frame. So I got a high right Charlie. Alpha's on the right. That was a 6-1. Okay. Thinking with the light guys, and again, right? Shoot, practice. There are guys who could do this way quicker with any other gun. Sam, I still hate you. But I feel like I'm trying to move so fast that I almost overdrive it a little bit. But I want to see how the steel frame feels with that. So we're not crazy far, and it's not a crazy wide transition. So we have one Charlie so far, so we don't need to tape up. But I want to see how that feels. So I got one low Charlie. Transition time was a 5-1. So I got, I think, a Charlie or 2 Charlie and then a Charlie. It definitely takes some getting used to this weight. Oh. That was a 4-9. Let's do one more. So that was a 4-9. So that's something I would have to get used to. I feel like put that in my pocket for later. Right? So that was steel frame. So I had one Charlie with the polymer, but I feel like definitely something to get used to. Once I get going, that bitch is just going. You know what I mean? Like the weight is just dragging me. That, or I mean, honestly, the only other explanation is I'm just a little bitch. So let's go back outside. You saw the hits, you saw the times, you saw everything like that. Let's go back outside and do a little bit more shooting and give some thoughts on a steel versus polymer. As you can see, with some of that shooting we did over at Independence, a lot of the times we're similar. This isn't a review of Walther guns. This is just an initial impression of steel versus non-steel. And both these guns are stock. We didn't change any of the recoil springs, long stroke, anything like that. You know, we have what, maybe 500 rounds through both. So there are guys out there who put way more rounds than I do with steel frame and non-steel frame pistols. And this is gonna seem like a fucking comp out. Is it comp or cop? Cop. It's gonna seem like a cop out, but honestly, I feel like what it really comes down to is personal preference, you know? The steel frame will have a little bit more mass to it when transitioning, or maybe I might have to change up my draw if I'm not completely comfortable because I'm a little pussy with scoop drawing with the steel frame. But at the end of the day, we wanted to make this video. Hold on, I actually want to try scoop draw. That was an A-zone hit. That was kind of slow, boy. 127. It was just, I think that's a line break, not sure. That was a 111. Let's try one more. What, we're about 12 yards, something like that. That was an A-zone. So you could still scoop draw. I mean, that's a 113. That's not terrible. But we wanted to make this video, one, because it kind of sparked my tism a little bit because I'm not too familiar with steel frame guns. But for the guy who might think he has to buy one or the other, or spend more money or spend less money or anything like that, it really comes down to feel and personal preference. Like, yeah, less felt recoil with the steel frame for sure. I feel cool whenever I, what's that? Punch out and go to work. You know, less felt recoil, but with the polymer, I'll come back. It's snappier, but comes right back down a little bit quicker. Let's try scoop draws with that. That felt weird. Yeah, it was a 109. I think it was an A-zone hit. That was A-zone and a .97. Oh, dude, I was waiting forever on that one. But anyways, Some guys like the balance of steel frame. Some guys like, you know, I talked to Hunter, I talked to Trent, who was in the match video. Some guys like the balance of the steel frame. Some guys like the flex or the tracking of the polymer, whatever it may be. So honestly, this whole video might not help anyone because it's a big I don't know, because I'm not sure myself. But if you get a chance, a range or something like that to try them both, or even to hold the guns, at least do that before you buy. You know why I just looked at that? Because I completely mic'd that second shot. All right, I'm going with steel frame. Yeah, I feel like I can get the transitions obviously a little bit quicker, but honestly guys, go out and see if you get your hands on your gun. And let's say if you buy a steel frame or you buy a polymer or anything like that, you can make it work. You can make it work for you for sure. Because I'm on the wall right now. It's like, I think I really like the way this steel shoots, and maybe because it's different. You know, when it comes down to the two guns, for me, I want to lean towards the steel, right? I'm still going to be shooting my Glock for a while, but that steel frame PDP, or just the idea of steel frames in general, I want to explore it. Now, it's not some overwhelming urge like I want something different, you know, like I got to go out and find another lover or something like that. It's I don't know, there's plus and there's minuses. And again, these are stock, so I think we might even do an update video where we trick out, maybe a more specific Walther video, where we kind of trick out both with the most recommended aftermarket stuff and really tune these guns. Because that's another thing too, we haven't tuned this straight out of the box, as if, you know, we got these guns and this is what we got. And this is what we're gonna be shooting with for a while, because we wanna buy ammo, we wanna train. I mean, fuck, dude, honestly, getting back to the Walther point, this isn't a Walther review, but these triggers are just absolutely, like, I'm surprised Glock doesn't copy them, because they are so jizz, so horse jizz. Honestly, like, these are the best. Like, the Apex and the M&P comes close, but that's aftermarket. You know what I mean? Like, these just, I mean, I don't want to sit here and just blow Walther the whole time, but this is gnarly. You tried these triggers, right, Betsy? Yeah, they're absolutely insane. So whatever you choose, just know it's about the training and the time behind it. You don't have to get a steel frame just to think you got a rip. Or maybe it's your personal preference, you like it. So like, what is it? Trent, he runs a CZ, he runs a heavier gun. He really likes it. He murders with it. You got Hunter, he runs the Polymer M&P. He absolutely murders with it. If I were to try and jump around from gun to gun and chase what the champions run, then I would never stop switching guns, and I would never get proficient with just one. And if you watch the last video, I can't afford to suck anymore. But thanks for watching.